Check and let me know if the screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So yesterday we had started with the graph traversal techniques, and I had listed that there are two graph traversal techniques available. First one is breadth first traversal and second one is depth first traversal. So out of which we had started with the breadth first traversal yesterday. We had taken one example. We'll quickly revise that example today for breadth first traversal. On the screen you can see there is a graph given comprising of 8 vertices and certain edges are there. So we take one particular vertex as the starting vertex from where the traversal is to be calculated, and this traversal is basically done considering two I would say terminologies. One is visiting of node and second one is exploring of nodes. So we have seen the meaning of both the things also. Like visiting of nodes means that we wish to print the data of that particular node or that particular vertex, and second one is exploring that node or exploring that vertex. So exploring node or exploring vertex means we need to visit all the adjacent vertices of that particular vertex. Okay, so we had seen the meaning of both this, and then we had applied this on this particular graph in which we had taken A as the starting vertex. We had taken A as the starting vertex. Okay, so for considering A as the starting vertex, we further go for exploring of A. Okay, so for exploring of A, we need to visit all the adjacent vertices of A. We need to visit all the adjacent vertices of A. Now, this adjacent of vertices of A are B and C. So we can either visit B and C, or we can visit in the form of C and B, right? So if we visit B first, then we will have to visit D and E, because the list of unexplored vertices is maintained in the form of Q. So on the right hand side, yesterday if you remember, we had maintained a Q. So initially A will come as a part of that unexplored vertex. For exploring A, we visit B and C. Further, we try to explore B. In that due course, we visit D and E. Then for exploring C, we further visit F and G. So as and when we try to explore one vertex, and if we try to in that due course, if we visit one particular vertex, then that vertex is treated as an unexplored vertex and is added in the queue. And this process will be continued till all the vertices which are part of your queue are getting explored. So it is not the case that you need to explore all the vertices of your graph, but you have to explore all the vertices which are there in your queue. So initially your first vertex will be there in your queue, and as your queue will grow, you have to unqueue, you have to dequeue all the elements from your queue one by one and try to explore only those nodes. Sometimes it may be possible that one particular vertex is not connected, right? So your graph may be unconnected also, or some vertex may be isolated also. So in such cases, the traversal will not be able to reach on that particular vertex, right? So it is not about exploring all the vertices of the graph, but it is all about exploring all the vertices which are part of your queue. Okay, so those vertices who will come inside your queue will only be explored. Initially, your first vertex from where your traversal will begin will be part of your queue, and to explore that node you will start visiting the other nodes, and those nodes will come as part of your unexplored nodes inside your queue, and those exploring will only be carried out. So sometimes your graph is disconnected, sometimes your graph is unconnected also. So in such cases you will not be able to traverse from one part of your graph to another part of your graph, right? So in such cases all vertices will not come inside your in your queue, and all vertices will not be part of your answer also, right? So traversal here doesn't mean that I print all the vertices. That one thing that you keep in your mind. Traversal is, in case of graph, doesn't mean that I will be printing all the vertices. Here traversal will be with respect to one given starting vertex. If that starting vertex is given to us in the problem, we will be taking that vertex as the starting vertex. If it is not given, as I told yesterday, we can assume any one vertex as the starting vertex and we can proceed. While proceeding, if the given example is in the form of diagram, then we may think that we may represent that diagram in different forms as far as our adjacency list is concerned, right? So for this example, when I store adjacency list for A, I may store it in the form of BC, or I may store it in the form of CB, right? So if I store in the form of BC, then in my visiting sequence answer will be BC. And if I store in the adjacency list in the form of CB, then in my answer, the answer will be CB, right? But what is important is if my answer is BC, then first exploring has to be done for B only. Then subsequent vertices will be D and E and not F and G, right? And if it is C, as you can see in the second answer, which is mentioned here on the screen, if it is C, then further exploring has to be of F and G only, right? So if the diagram is given, then we have an ambiguity that whether my list is having BC or CB, likewise I may get different answer. But sometimes, my dear students, if in the numerical, the given diagram is, suppose it is in the form of list only. So suppose this type of list is given to you as an input. So if the list is given to you as an input, then there is no ambiguity. And if the starting vertex is also given to you, then your answer will be unique. So if I say that starting vertex is 1, if I say that starting vertex is 1, if the starting vertex is 1, and if this list is given to me as an input, then my answer has to be unique. My answer would be 1, 2, 4, 3, right? Then 5. This will be my final answer, right? That we had seen yesterday, right? So if for a given vertex, see, understand this, for a given starting vertex, if adjacency list is given in the form of the question, then the answer will be unique. I again repeat, if for a given starting vertex, if the starting vertex is given to you, if I tell you that 1 is the starting vertex, and if I give you the adjacency list of the graph, if I give you adjacency list of the graph, then my answer will be unique. Then my answer will be unique. But if I only give you starting vertex, if I only give you starting vertex, I don't give you the adjacency list. Rather, I give you this kind of diagram as an input. Then there is an ambiguity, right? Someone can tell I will store 2, 3, 4, someone will store 2, 4, 3. Then I may get multiple possible correct answers. Are you getting this? So for a given starting vertex and a given adjacency list, my answer of BFT is unique. But for a given starting vertex, if my diagram of graph is given to me and adjacency list is not given, then there might be an ambiguity and I may get multiple correct answers for my BFT. I may get multiple correct answers for my BFT. So try to understand the context of questions also. Sometimes these type of questions are coming into the gate examinations for MCQ, right? So try to understand if the given graph is in the form of diagram, you may get multiple correct answers. And sometimes they may ask you to find an incorrect answer. So I had told you yesterday how to find the incorrect answer also. So try to understand the sequence in which the exploring is being carried out and visiting is being carried out, right? Now, if the adjacency list is given to you, also the starting vertex should be given to you. Now here I told you that 1 is your starting vertex. And if this list is given to you, then you can directly say that 1, 2, 4, 3, 5 is the answer. But if only list is given to you, see my dear students, only list is given to you, but it is not informed to you that which is the starting vertex. See, it is not informed to you which is the starting vertex. So one candidate may tell that I will take 1 as starting vertex. Someone may take 2 as starting vertex. Someone may take 3 as starting vertex, right? So I may get different answers also. So if I take 3 as starting vertex, what type of traversal answer I'll get to this one? If this list is given to me as an input. So if 3 is the starting vertex, my first vertex will be 3. For exploring 3, I'll visit 1 and 4. The sequence should be as per the list only because list is given to you as an input, right? So 3, 1, 4. Next, I'll be trying to explore 1. For exploring 1, I'll visit 2. Then 4 is already visited, 3 is already visited. So that will be done. Then further, I'll try to go and explore 4. For exploring 4, 1, 2 and 3 are already visited. Next 5 will be, right? And this will be my final result for the traversal. If 3 is considered as the starting vertex with this given list as an input. With this given list as an input. I hope you are understanding what I am trying to explain, that if a list is given to you as an input, if a list is given to you as an input, and if the starting vertex is also given to you as an input, then you can tell that your answer is unique. But if only list is given to you as an input and no starting vertex is given, by default any starting vertex is given, then we may have multiple starting vertices also. So sometimes this type of question will also come, that pick the incorrect traversal result from the following options, right? And adjacency list will be given to you as an input. So some options may start from 1, some options may start from 3. So 3 options may start from 1, say for example, right? So don't be under impression that someone which is starting from 3, 4 or 5 is always wrong. No, my traversal can start from any vertex, because here we don't have any fixed node as the starting vertex, because this is not like tree. Try to understand, this is not like tree. Here there is no default starting vertex. Any vertex can be treated as the starting vertex when it comes to graph. Any vertex can be treated as the starting vertex when it comes to graph. Did you understand this, what I'm trying to explain? Yes, my dear students, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes,
we may get multiple correct answers also, right? So I'll try to draft this sentence so you can make a proper note of it in your notes. Okay. So let me go to notepad so I can draft that statement. For a given starting vertex, all of you can make note of it. For a given starting vertex in graph, and for a given adjacency list of the corresponding graph, BFT, that is breadth first traversal, produces unique traversal. It will produce unique traversal. But for a given starting vertex, if my input is provided in the form of diagram, then we may have multiple correct options for the BFT traversal. I hope you have understood what do I mean by these two statements. This I was trying to explain you with help of examples just now. So all of you can make note of these two statements. Okay. All of you can make note of these two statements. Let me know once it is done. Okay, so we'll proceed. Is it done? Am I audible, students?
Yes, sir.
Make note of these statements. Let me know once it is done from your end. Shall we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now quickly have a look at this particular diagram. Just let me know if you are able to see this diagram. All of you are able to see the diagram on screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
this diagram is representing the flow chart of how this BFT traversal is taking place. Okay. I'll quickly go through this particular flow chart for you people. Okay. What we do initially is we visit and mark the first node of our graph, right? So one node we take as the first node from where from where our traversal will begin, right? So we visit that particular node and we mark means we print it in the output, right? Then we put this first node in our queue. This queue is for what? This queue is for unexplored vertices or unexplored nodes, right? Then we check whether our queue is empty. No, now the queue will not be empty because we have just now added one node, our first node into it, right? So what we will do, we'll perform a dequeue first, right? Because our queue is not empty, that's why we'll go in the no path. will be coming in this no path, right? We'll be removing that particular node from the queue. And what we will be doing, we will be visiting the adjacency list of that particular node. So for that, first we will point to the first entry in the adjacency list of that particular node. So in our case, we visited A first in the diagram. You can see the diagram in your notebooks, right? So visit that A, we visit that A, right? So we check the A's adjacency list. Then we check whether we are at the end of the adjacency list. No, because A's adjacency list is having B and C. So we'll come in this no. We check whether that B is already visited. No, B is not already visited, right? So what we do? So we put that node on the queue and mark that particular node as visited, and we again continue. So one arrow is remaining here by me by mistake, so I need to connect this particular part to this also. I need to come back from this part back to this part, right? Again I'll check whether I'm at the end of the adjacency list. No, I'm not at the end of the adjacency list, right? So what we'll do, we'll again go, we'll check whether C is already visited. No, C is not visited. So we'll again visit C and we'll put that node in the queue, and again we'll continue. Again we'll check whether we are at the end of the adjacency list. Yes, now we'll be at the end of adjacency list because A's adjacency list will be finished. So we'll go back with yes over here, right? We'll go back with over here. Now again we'll check whether the queue is empty. No, because now B and C are part of our queue. Now B and C are part of our queue. B and C are part of our queue. So now we'll again remove B first. We'll now remove B first. Then we'll point to the first entry in the adjacency list of B. Again we'll do the same processing. Whether we are at the end of adjacency list, yes, we'll go here. No, we'll come back here. And the same process will keep on continuing. If a particular node is already visited, what will happen? Then we don't need to visit it again and we don't need to put it in queue. So in that case, just what we do is we move to the next node on the adjacency list. So sometimes it happens like when we visited the next node B. So in B's adjacency list, we will be having A, D and E. So as A is already visited, I will not go here. I'll come in the yes path. So in that case, we'll just move to the next node in the adjacency list. So from A, we will move on to the next node. So whether that time will not be at the end of list, then we'll be visiting D, then we'll be visiting, and so on. This process will continue. So the only thing that is missing by mistake from me in this diagram, I'll just correct it so that you'll not make any mistakes at your end. I'll just edit that particular diagram. Just hold on for a moment. So otherwise some students will make a wrong entry. Okay, so from this portion, again I will be coming to this part. This one thing was remaining. Okay, so just add that much part in the diagram. Okay, so there will be an arrow from this to this one. Is it clear, this flowchart? Any doubt? Yes? Anyone having any doubt? Am I audible, students? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now there is an exercise what all of